Welcome. So we'll talk about a little bit about what is optimizing the breathing. This is just an introduction to some of the ideas about breathing and maybe a little bit of an overview. Um, Breathing is breathing. We breathe normally until we have abnormal problems with the breathing. So it's an issue. But optimum means not too much, not less, and also the oxygen that needs to go to a place where it should. It will reach all the tissues that needs to go, because that's what the breathing is for. And the whole idea here is that life opens up with breath. And if you imagine the child being born, before it is born, it receives all the oxygen from the mother's womb, where a little cord is connected deep into the belly, and receives the blood, which is not much of oxygen there because there's no lungs. Child is not breathing inside the womb. The first time it's born, it's immediately first big breath, gets slapped or something, and then takes a big breath. And that big breath that's how the oxygen starts circulating. So the breathing, therefore, after that, you have to think about all the aspects: amount of air, amount of oxygen, quality of air. Is efficient? Is it, how much are you breathing properly so that there's no extra effort? Extra effort with less amount of oxygen, that's not good. And proficiency, its usefulness. And also the idea being it is also used to support other things. For example, there is healing required, the wound, then oxygen, good amount of oxygen is also heals the tissues. So breathing is actually, it's a free thing. And anybody and everybody can really practice this to get it better. Whatever stage you are, it doesn't really matter what age you are. Breathing the correct way, the proper way, and also, amount and all this stuff that we're talking about is extremely beneficial and it's extremely useful. So then now there are, breathing practices have like 4 approaches different. One is the physical part, just the physical breathing, the mechanics of the breathing. Then the emotional part of the breathing. And then the physiological part. Emotions affect breathing. For example, when you're anxious, breathing can be really faster and all that. And the other way around, when you're resting and you're calm, the breathing is calm. And so emotions and breathing has a lot more of overplay. And then the physiological, there's the energy. Where's the energy coming from? How the energy is generated, how the oxygen carries the energy around into the tissues and all. And the biochemistry of it. It's biochemistry. What exactly happened? Carbon dioxide and all that. And what was the role of the diaphragm? And how fast you're breathing. And the energy part is also studied by the spiritual aspects. Spiritual aspects are very fascinating here. And people have been studying spirituality for millenniums, in fact, generations. And the monks and also the people who have been practicing this spirituality have been talking about how to breathe, how to hold the breath, how to reduce the rate of breathing, and how beneficial all that is. The yogic techniques and Tai Chi and Qigong techniques are all very, very useful. And the Hebrews, they call it Ruha. Greeks call it Pneuma. Japanese call it Ki. Chinese call it Chi. And our own philosophy in Vedantic, they call it Prana. Now, the interesting thing about whole concept here is that when we adjust these things, we adjust the breathing at multiple levels. And the whole idea here is breathing that goes through the nose or mouth. There are advantages to this, disadvantages. Goes through this, goes into there are sinuses here, the air can circulate here. There are some reasons why we have sinuses, and sinuses everywhere. And not only it makes the skull light, but it warms it up. It has chance to trap the bacteria and also has ability to generate what is known as nitric oxide. Nitric oxide has been studied a lot already because nitric oxide can open up the blood vessels and also the air passages. And nitric oxide is also antibacterial. So all that is very helpful with the sinuses. So proper way of breathing is very helpful. That to generate that, we need to see how we're doing it first. Then it goes into the air pipe and also trachea, and then goes into the lungs. The lungs, the upper part of the lungs and the lower part of the lungs, and the diaphragm. Diaphragm is the main muscle which is causing, it goes down as you inhale and up. Now it can be the other way around if the diaphragm is not working. Diaphragm is the largest, one of the second largest muscle in the body. It's all between the belly and the chest. From front to back, side to side, there's a huge muscle like that. And do we practice that? Do we exercise that? How do we exercise that? That's very essential to learn because diaphragmatic breathing is extremely beneficial, powerful, and the actual benefit occurs to even athletes who start doing the nose breathing and doing diaphragmatic breathing. My goodness, their efficiency, their performance increases like 20, 30% more. And there are other things that we do with that. And so this is an introduction about what optimized breathing means and why do we need to optimize, because there's so many situations that occur that cause the problem. For example, sleep. Sleep is a problem. There is a problem with the rest that you don't get from breathing. Anxiety, panic attacks. People have asthma and bronchial spasm, infections, sinus infections because it's not proper breathing is not occurring. In fact, any surgery, anything that happens, the lungs and proper oxygen is totally required in order to really recover. And so many areas like this. And of course, performance with the sports and ability to run without getting short of breath and so on and so forth. Ability to stand cold. There are a number of techniques of the breathing where we can generate heat. And so why optimize breathing? These are the various possibilities. And so just connect with us through SFI, Self-Fulfillment Institute. And we have programs for optimized breathing. And you can join us. We also have practices that happen twice a week, beginning shortly, but you will have a much more understanding about what is being done. And the best of all, anyone and everyone will be helped, particularly in this day and age when now we're dealing with the COVID and the viruses and all that stuff. It attacks the respiratory system. And would you not want to strengthen your respiratory system? It would be really powerful to learn some of these things now so that you can really, really help yourself if there is a situation that comes up. And in reality, to be able to prevent it. Good breathing also does a lot of other things, like we'll talk more about it, circulation, lymphatics, immunology, and so on and so forth. Also, red cells and oxygen, proper delivery to every tissue like the brain, wakefulness, concentration, ability to think clearly. All these things are extreme benefits to the brain. Emotional stability, becoming calm, less stress. And then the heart is helped wonderfully because the heart also gets a lot of good oxygen with proper breathing. And, they're just, it's a simple thing. And don't let the simplicity of what we're talking about, because everybody breathes and say, what's big deal in breathing? Don't let the simplicity of what I'm saying to you fool you. As I started doing it, I thought I was in tremendous shape, because I am. I do a wonderful amount of walking, so much of activity and everything. And then I realized that I can always do more. I can get better, just like we talk about cardiovascular fitness. Heart fitness, everybody knows. Muscle fitness, everybody knows. How much weight can you lift? How much can you run? Marathons and all that stuff, sprint, swim. Everybody is aware of that. Why not become breathing fit, breath fitness, lung fitness? Think about that. Welcome. Welcome to the program for Optimize Your Breathing.